Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Creation Station. In-depth look at the power of Abbey Road 1. Very curious, because as you guys know, I'm a big fan of Contact. They have their own application. Everything's locked up, so I can't go in there and do special edits. But there's a bunch of tweakability. And usually when I get emotional about something and think, oh my God, this is so gorgeous, I turn this camera on and just do a casual little screenshot. Okay, so bear with me here for a second. This is Abbey Road Studio 1. You can see the application. I have two of them open. One of them is set to high strings, and the other one, as you might have guessed, to low strings. Both of them are set to longs, just the long notes right now. And I tweaked a little bit already, and I want to show you what in regards to what. Let me go to the vibrato setting. You can see that if I move my foot pedal, here's what happens. Two controllers slide up and down. By default, the volume slider is set to react to the volume, to the foot pedal, control 11, that's what it is. But I reprogrammed that, and that's fairly easy to do just by simply clicking on the control. And it says, aha, you got control 11 selected. And you can change that, of course. You can remove it first and then let it learn a new MIDI impulse or MIDI signal. Did the same thing, of course, over here. Set this one to vibrato. This is done by clicking on the center of this wheel here, and then turn it to vibrato. And I just love the emotional impact of what's about to happen now. I'm going to, during this exercise, run MIDI along so you can, if you're interested to become a member of the channel, there's a special membership that's very cheap. You can get all the performances and chords. If you're curious about some of the chords and you think, ooh, this is a lovely chord, then you can get that. So let me begin. Listen to this. Ooh, welcome to Pro Tools Overload. That happens frequently. So what you can see here is that these strings speak very strongly, and they get to this non-vibrato place. There's a very specific emotion that comes from that I find incredibly irresistible. You know, this stillness that comes about the sound. Look. That is incredibly expressive. I have never seen a library do this better than my first touchdown with Abbey Road 1. And never. The playability is excellent. The sound quality is incredible. Obviously, this library was recorded at Abbey Road Studio 1. You know, Harry Potter was scored there. Some of the biggest and movie scores came out of this room. And you can dial in the amount of room that goes on in there. But the most important thing is that the core sound of the strings themselves is so incredibly balanced and rich and just amazing. So this just blew me away, and I thought, all right, let me share this. This is chapter 1. It's just the strings. Let's look a little bit at the other expressions that are available, and I have to do this obviously twice because they split the strings into low and high strings. Why that must be done, I don't quite understand. There must be a technical reason behind it. That is the simple reason why I created 2 MIDI tracks over here, which are playing back or which are addressing the MIDI channels. You can actually see it here in the output in Pro Tools. This one is Spitfire low strings or Abbey Road 1 plugin, and then the Abbey Road plugin 2. So I'm arming them both at the same time so I can play those perfectly balanced. And these 2 plugins will sound at the same time. Let's look again. You can see the readouts over here and the channel strips. So the balance between top and bottom without doing anything else is really gorgeous. See, this is a legato patch that has this incredible, God, what is that? Cinematic warmth and emotionality is about it. It's just awesome. But at the same time, it can play really fast runs. Look. That is outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Let's take a quick look at the Sordinos. Let's see how they sound. They're probably going to be very, very muted and also with the same controls. Let's take a look. I could just cry. I just love this so much. It's just incredibly well done. The thing I wish that was possible, and I do not know if I have the option in here, is a very, very important programming detail that I dial in with all of my plugins, all of my string plugins, because I'm obviously a keyboardist, and I tend to always highlight certain notes by playing them a little stronger. Well, here's an example about why I think patches should be velocity dynamic. At least the option should be given. We want all the expressiveness with the foot controller, but we also need velocity dynamics from the hand at the same time. And here's a good example. Listen to LA scoring strings, my favorite patch, and see how the top note stands out, the melody note stands out. I'm playing the voicing with the left hand and the melody note with the right. So this already stands out. So all I have to do now is to take a legato monophonic patch of a violin or viola and follow that line exactly, even maybe a little unexact, so to make it a little bit more human, because then that will create the legato gloss and the tightness and the togetherness of that section on top. I've done this millions of times. It works like a charm. Okay, now let me show you the same thing from Abbey Road 1 and watch where the melody line is, if you can even hear it. Oh, and there, this puppy is demanding on CPU. We need velocity dynamic along with the character change via controller 11, via, in my case, the volume pedal. Some of you may do this with a slider. I find it just, my foot's just sitting there. Why is it not being used? So I got used to breathing with the volume pedal, and I do this live too in shows, and I love playing strings in shows. But anyways, that's the example. See the difference? It's a vast difference in responsiveness. This patch will literally produce 8 decibels more sound between soft and loud. Anyways, moving on to the next chapter of Abbey Road 1. Let's look at the other expressions real quick. So Sordino, very beautiful. Tremolo, dialing it into both plugins. Let's see what happens. Very nice also. I just can't get over how balanced this sounds. You know, I thought if I were to EQ anything, what would I EQ? You know, with LA scoring strings, which is my heart, you know, that is my favorite. I have to frequently dial out something around 3.5 kilohertz, sometimes with a dynamic EQ in order to get rid of some harshness. This, I don't hear any need for EQing. They do an incredible job balancing their sounds and never taking the emotion out of them. That's wonderful. Let's look at spiccato. All right, so that was the 4 expression. Let's look at pizzicato. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. All right, everybody, that was the first chunk. I just did an insert. That's why I'm so inconsistent with my wardrobe here. But I just looked at introducing this whole library, the percussion, the brass, and the ensemble patches where things are mixed together. It would be so tedious. It would be like a 40-minute video, and I didn't want to do that to you. The link is in the description for the next chunk, which belongs to Abbey Road 1. It is an unbelievably well-designed library, and I'm hoping for a software update at some point. I'm going to discuss it with folks over there, see if they're receptive. It's a pretty happening company. Like this, top of the line. There's no doubt about it. So please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel. Hit like if you feel so inclined. I hope this was helpful and inspiring to you. This is Stephan Oberhoff signing out from the Creation Station, and on to the next installment. See you soon. Peace.